When I started this diary, I had no idea the impact it was going to have on so many people around the world. It was originally started as a personal journal for me to understand, I suppose, from my perspective, what was happening in the world. We'd just come back from a holiday in Malaysia in December, New Year's Eve, and we were settling back into life in London, and I was meeting clients and I changed studios and so on. And then around February time, this, more news was coming in of the virus that was spreading across Asia. And I think it was when it got into Italy that it suddenly became close to home and more relevant, I guess, to us. And the news coverage was changing on a daily basis and saying how many people were dying and how many people were being infected and so on and so forth, and the lockdown that was happening in Italy. So for me, I've always used illustration as, I guess, a therapeutic tool, a way to sort of calm down and understand things a little bit more. It's quite cathartic for me to maybe jot things down and switch off from the world. But for me, I didn't really want to switch off from the world whilst doing this. I wanted to read more and understand more. I stuck a video up onto LinkedIn and Instagram, and so many people commented. I think I had like 250,000 views on LinkedIn and 12,000 likes of just the first few pages of the diary, and so many people saying you have to publish this because it's so relevant at the moment, and it could be, an historical piece of documentation, just because of the amount of news stories that I was including in it. So I kind of went for it, and I thought, well, I'll do more research and I'll do more reading and I'll understand more. And there is a lot of really sad stuff in the book, but there's also a lot of hope as well, and a lot of community-spirited actions that we haven't seen maybe for a long time. And I think in moments of uncertainty, communities do come together and they pull together and they work together. So there's a lot of that included in the book. I do mention a lot about governments and how they handled it and the situations, because I think it was completely relevant at the time. And I think we shouldn't really forget certain things of, moving forward. Hopefully this won't happen again, but moving forward into the future, that we can maybe deal with it in a much more organised way. It was definitely something that I kind of enjoyed doing, but at the same time, there's a few tears doing this as well, reading some of the stories. There was a lot of anger, that's for sure, but there was a lot of hope as well, and I think that's the one thing. This book, published book, is a limited edition artist piece, and the feedback has been just immense, beyond my imaginations. I've sent these all over the world. People are just, blowing my mind with the reviews. It's a hugely detailed piece of work. I've never done anything like this before. I don't know if I'll ever do another one again. I hope not. But yeah, this took up 6 months of my life. And I have to say, even though it was a really sad story, it was probably one of my most proudest pieces of work that I've ever done. And the one thing that I realised through all of this is, because of the situation that we were in, you really do need to live life to the fullest as much as you can, and realise what's important to you, because at the end of the day, anything can happen. And as we've seen, it already has.